Good evening and welcome to the UKG podcast. Today we are doing a deep dive on a player that Manchester United has been heavily linked to, a player that is close to joining the club, and that is Ederson. So today we are going to do a deep dive on Ederson and see, is he a good fit for the club? Can he complement Mainoo as well as Bruno Fernandes? Is he a good replacement for Casemiro? We know that Casemiro and Ugarte are leaving. We know that United want to rebuild that midfield. They need to buy at least three midfielders. The reports state that United will buy one marquee signing, one, let's say, affordable signing, and one squad player signing in terms of the midfield. But with these three players, what does it mean for players like Mainoo, Mason Mount? Will they still play in the midfield? We saw Carrick playing Mason Mount and Mainoo in the last game versus Brighton, and they did a good job. Honestly, they did a good job in that midfield. So today we are going to do a deep dive on Ederson. And as usual, my name is Simon, or UKG. You can call me any of those names. I'm glad to be back live. We started coming back live yesterday. I was live yesterday just looking at the reports, looking at Ederson's news. And as promised, today I'm going to do a deep dive on the player or about the player, understand who Ederson is, learn more about him, look at his metrics, look at his stats, look at his injury record, look at his playing style, look at whether he can play well with Kobe, how he compares with a player like Casemiro, because United need a Casemiro replacement, not so much an Ugarte replacement, but a Casemiro one, someone who can boss that midfield. So get involved in the comment section. Let me know what you think about Ederson as we go along, and make sure you also hit that subscribe button on YouTube, that follow button on Kick, on Twitch, on Facebook, as well as TikTok. And guys on TikTok, make sure you also jump over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button. Yeah, so I hope the graphics will display well, especially if you're using your phone. If you're not seeing it well, then you'll find the recording on YouTube, on Facebook, on Kick, on Twitch. You can watch that. So today we're going to do a deep dive on one of the players that has been linked to United, heavily linked. And reports are stating that the deal is close. Manchester United are in advanced talks with Ederson. So Ederson is a player that is available for a very affordable price. And looking at the price that he's quoted at 38, between 38 to 40 million pounds, that's a good fee. That's a good amount. Reports state that the fixed fee will be about 35,000 million pounds, with around 3 to 5 million pounds in performance-related add-ons. And that's a good deal, considering that he is in his prime. He's 26 years old. He'll be 27 in July. He was born on 7th July, Saba Saba, as Kenyans usually say. So today we're just going, as I said, I think I keep repeating myself, we're going to do a deep dive on this player. So let's start looking at his profile. Who are Manchester United getting? So, as I said, when I was looking up Ederson, I actually looked at his name, and that name is like a sentence. I don't know whether I can even pronounce his full name. It's Ederson Jose dos Santos. I don't know whether to pronounce Lorenzo or Lorenzo da Silva. That's his full name. You can see how his name is long. It's like the Casemiro name. So instead of pronouncing his full name like the way we are used to, like Bruno Fernandes, Mainoo, I think it's just easier to call him Ederson. So Ederson, last season, total appearances across all competitions, that is European competition, club competition, as well as national competition, that's the national team. He's had 41 appearances. GA is not so good, 3 goals, 2 assists. And the Who Scored rating, he was given a 6.79, which is not really bad. He's close to Casemiro. I think Casemiro had a 7 point something. I can't remember. He puts on the shirt number 13. His primary position is midfield, central midfielder, but he can play as a defensive midfielder. He can also play as an attacking midfielder. So that shows you how versatile Ederson is. He's 26 years old. As I said, his birthday will be next month on 7th. So he'll be 27 next month. And United are getting a player in his prime for 35 to 40 million pounds. That's a good deal. He has international experience. He has European experience. He's been one of the most important players for that, for that Atalanta team. So United are not getting a bad player. They're not getting a poor player. There are a lot of fans who are saying they would prefer Elliot Anderson, instead of getting Ederson. So we are going to look at his numbers. So he's 6 foot, 183 centimeters, that is. And he's Brazilian. So United are also getting someone with a Brazilian flair, So he's a very, very good profile to get, because United are getting a player who's experienced, a player who's in his prime age, and a player who's going to come in and probably slot in quickly. So Ederson is available for 35, as I keep saying. So Ederson is more or less, when I was looking at his profile, when I was doing the research, when I was going through his playing style, he reminded me of a Fred. You remember Pastor Fred, or someone like Ander Herrera. He reminded me of Ander Herrera, how Ander Herrera used to run around, cover every blade of grass, He could follow instructions. You remember when Jose Mourinho asked Ander Herrera to mark Eden Hazard when United were playing versus Chelsea, and Ander Herrera did a good job. So Ederson is more or less like Fred and Ander Herrera combined. So he has that Brazilian flair. He's very versatile. He's a workhorse. He can run around the pitch. He can cover spaces. He does a good job dropping deep, getting the ball, linking defense to attack. He also does some good splitting passes. He has very good long balls. And looking at how he can play with Kobe, we'll get to that section later. You can see he's a player. He's a player that can complement Kobe perfectly, because he's someone who can run. He has the legs. He can run. He's very versatile. He can play deep. He can play as a CM, a central midfielder. He can play as an attacking midfielder. And we saw Carrick have some sort of a rotational kind of play with his midfielders. There were times you could see Bruno dropping deep to become a DLP, Casemiro moving forward. You could see Kobe having that free role, Bruno having more of a central role. And you look at Ederson, he can complement Kobe and Bruno Fernandes perfectly. So he's a good Fred and a good Ander Herrera kind of archetype. He's a combination of both. We know how Fred used to also run around. He could do good dribbling. We'll see how Ederson compares to Casemiro. We are going to compare their profiles and see, are we actually getting another Casemiro, a better one, or a worse one, or a poorer Casemiro, So fans on social media have actually come out. Most of the Atalanta fans have come out and say that United are actually getting a good player. They don't understand why some United fans don't want him. But hey, nowadays we know that rage betting is what is making money online. Now, moving to the next bit of his profile. Sorry, guys, I have to move slow because I need to keep changing screens and monitoring. I don't have a production team. So looking at his profile, as I mentioned, 41 appearances, 5 goals and assists, that is 3 goals, 2 assists, rating of 6.79 by who scored, which is not bad. It's close to a 7. He can play as a CM, a DM, or an attacking midfielder. He'll be 27 in his prime. Now, looking at his strengths, what does Ederson do well? Passing duels, concentration, passing aerial duels, concentration, positioning, ground duels. So he actually does well in those type of plays. So that tells you that United are getting an all-round midfielder. This is a midfielder that can tackle, a midfielder that can link up play, a midfielder that can also progress play. The weaknesses are not so much. We'll have a look at them. and they are along the lines of things like creativity. But you look at how he plays, I'm looking at my notes. So his defensive engagement isn't reckless tackling. He's not someone who just flies in for the tackle. He's actually very, very good. When I compared his profile to Casemiro's profile, I actually found out that the dribbled past statistics is much, much better compared to Casemiro. So he's someone who's not dribbled past quite often. He's very good in his ground duels. As much as he is 6 foot, he can also win aerial duels, but still that's a bit of a weakness, and we'll see that later. So for the guys who watch movies, you know Spider-Man. So yeah, Spider-Man has what we call a spidey sense. He can sense things before it happens. So Ederson can also do the same. He also has that attribute. He can sense a pass. He can read a pass, similar to Casemiro. He can read play. He can see a pattern and be in the right position to actually intercept the ball or have a good tackle. So United are getting a very good player. So when it comes to out of possession, he's very relentless. He likes it chewing up space. He likes covering space. As I said, he doesn't have reckless tackling, and he has very high volumes in terms of interception. We'll see comparison to Casemiro. So his ball recovery is good. His interception is good. He covers a lot of space, a lot of ground, which will complement Kobe very well. So Kobe Mainoo is someone we know, yes, his heat map is good. We'll see the heat map later. But Ederson can be able to cover those grounds that Kobe cannot be able to do. We know that Kobe is very, very good in tight spaces with the ball, but off the ball, he has a weakness. So when you get someone like Ederson, you're getting a player who will be able to complement Kobe Mainoo in a positive way. So you look at, in terms of covering the channels, he can cover the channels when fullbacks bomb forward. When fullbacks are attacking, we know that Dalot, for example, Luke Shaw, or a player like Dogu, they like attacking. They like moving forward. So Ederson is someone that can be able to cover those spaces, can be able to cover ground when United lose the ball. Because Casemiro, we know that he was aging. He couldn't cover a lot of ground as much as he could read the game. But now United are getting like a younger version of Casemiro in terms of tracking back and covering space. Oh, what is TikTok telling me? TikTok issues. Anyway, now moving forward, looking at his profile, going back to his profile, and we look at his playing style. What does he do? We've seen his strengths. We've seen what he can do well. In terms of duels, he's quite good. In terms of concentration, as I said, he's someone who has a spidey sense. He can be able to read play. He can be able to see where the pass will go. He can be able to predict, like, this player, this is how he will play, then put in a very, very good tackle. His disciplinary record in terms of cards is also good. He hasn't been out due to suspensions quite a lot. His ground rules is also good. As I said, we look at his statistics in terms of interceptions, in terms of dribbled passes. It's a new statistic that actually came up a few years ago. So looking at his playing style, he prefers to play with his right foot. And funny thing is, he prefers playing with his right foot, but prefers playing on the left side of the pitch. It might be due to the tactical setup at Atalanta, but we look at his heat map and you'll see he prefers playing mostly on the left side. So he's right-footed, prefers playing on the left. So even if he's playing as a CM, he tends to drift more towards the left side. As I've mentioned, it might be down to a tactical issue. He's a relentless box-to-box midfielder. So this is someone who will drop deep, collect the ball, connect play between the defenders, between the attackers or midfielders, and also go forward to like create pressure in the opponent's half, in the opponent's box. His ball carrying and progression is also good. He's not a Bruno kind of ball carrier. He's not a Kobe Mainoo kind of ball carrier, but he can do the job. He can carry the ball. He has very good dribbling skills. Looking at him and his positional versatility, he can drop deep to become one of the center backs. He can play as a DM. He can play as a central midfielder, box to box. He can play as a pivot. So, for example, he can allow Mainoo to be free, roam about, and he can cover space. He can also play as an attacking midfielder. As I mentioned, looking at how Carrick set up the midfield versus Brighton, it's like Mount, Mainoo, Bruno, they were interchanging positions. And so he can do that. He also likes playing long balls. United have had a very, very huge weakness over the past few years with long balls. You look at the players who can play long balls at United, they are very, very few. You can think of Martinez, Bruno, Casemiro. Those are the only players we see trying out long balls, like switching play from right to left, or looking for the wingers in terms of their runs, looking for fullbacks in terms of their runs. So also Ederson coming in will add on to the number of players at United who can be able to give a long ball. We know that in Premier League, some teams press high, and with Cunha, with Bruno, with Ahmad, with a player like Mbumo, Sheshko, those long balls can be killer passes. They bypass the midfield, they bypass the defense, and they can be able to hit them on the counter. So United are getting also a good player in terms of profile when it comes to long balls, and creating that transition. We've seen that Carrick, sometimes he's setting up the team to have patient build-up, and other times it's quick transition. In some games like the Arsenal game, the Liverpool game, Tottenham, Man City, we saw United were using quick transitions, bypassing midfielders and defenders, an overhead ball or a splitting pass, and the runners run towards the ball and attack. So Ederson can be able to execute that tactical style of play. So looking at his injury record, one of the things that United have also struggled with recently is injury records when it comes to the players. We know that a lot of United players get injured, not only in defense, in midfield, in attack. But United are getting a player, will get a player that is quite reliable. You can't compare him to Mason Mount, for example. You look at his injury record. Last season, he only missed 30 days, and those were 4 games, through a minor meniscus injury. So missing 4 games, it's still good enough. It's still good. And he was available for the rest of the season. It's quite normal for players to miss through injury. Players like Bruno, players like Dalot are an exception. Those are like freaks of nature. They can play all games. Someone like Dalot and Bruno remind me of players like Patrice Evra. He could play all games all season. But having a player who missed only 30 days is 4 games. Those are 4 weekends. It's still a good record. You look at the previous season, 23-24, 24-25, he didn't miss any game through injury. 23-24, he missed 7 days through ankle injury. Those are 2 games. No, sorry, not 2 games. He missed 0 games in 23-24, although he had ankle problems. And then in 22-23, he had a hamstring injury. He missed 2 games in those 17 days. So that's a very, very good injury record. If you compare to someone like Mason Mount, who will you start? Who will you rely on? So injury record is good. He's a player that will be available to play for the team. He's reliable. He's masculine. Yes, he's 6 foot tall, 183 centimeters, but he has a very, very good body. He can run. He's fit. He can run for 90 minutes. He can play multiple games and still maintain that physical fitness. He doesn't tire quite quickly. He's more like Bruno. He's someone who can run. So looking at that injury record, it's good. It's a very, very good injury record, and you're getting reliability. One of the things that United need to sort out is getting reliable players. A lot of players are usually injured. You look at that defense, Euro injuries, Martinez injuries, Aiden Heaven a bit, but he looked like he put it past him. You look at Mason Mount, it's like you're risking him whenever he plays. Injury. Dogu was quite good until he got that long-term injury. So you look at Sheshko as well, had a back problem. So United need reliable players that we know in the starting 11, it will be more like consistent. Yesterday during the live, I mentioned, I was responding to one of the comments like, we need to have a consistent back four. You look at the super teams in Europe, the teams that are very, very consistent in their performances, they have a consistent team, a consistent back four, a consistent spine at the center of the pitch from defense, goalkeeper, defense, midfield, attack. It's like consistent players are playing there. You go back to the Sir Alex Ferguson days, there are players that were very, very consistent. For example, Vidic, Ferdinand. We knew that they were always on that team list. We knew that Rooney will always play. Scholes will always play. Carrick will always play. And then you rest them in the odd games like the cup games and midweek matches, So the weaknesses that Ederson has, looking at the weaknesses, there are not so many. They are not major weaknesses per se, but he's a bit limited when it comes to line-breaking vision. He's not like a Casemiro who could spot a pass. Casemiro at times he could make that line-breaking pass. He's not a Kobe Mainoo as well, who can spot a pass and give a splitting pass. He's not a Bruno. So Ederson, when getting Ederson, don't expect him to be like a Bruno, like a Mainoo, or a Casemiro. But what he does well is in terms of his ball progression. He can dribble and he likes interplay. He likes short passes, long passes. So as much as he cannot have that line-breaking vision like a Bruno or a Kobe or a Casemiro, he compensates that with good dribbles, good ball carrying ability. He has a bit of limitations when it comes to creative passes. So he has very, very few like through balls because his main job is mostly that midfield disruption. He's very good at defending. He's very good at connecting defense to midfield and attack. But he's not like a Bruno who will give a very good through pass. No. So when United sign him, don't expect him to give through passes like Bruno or those chipped passes. No, he has a bit of limitations when it comes to creative passing. In terms of aerial duels, yes, he wins quite a bit of the aerial duels, but his height limits him a bit. And the Premier League has a lot of tall defenders. Tall defenders, tall strikers. So yes, he's quite sturdy. He's quite he's muscular. He can be able to win the aerial duels, but still his numbers are not like Casemiro numbers. Casemiro, we know that he's good in both boxes. He can win those aerial duels in defense. He can win those aerial duels in attack and score goals. But Ederson does not reach such numbers compared to Casemiro. Tunnel vision. Sometimes when he's under pressure, sometimes when Ederson is under pressure, he cannot see a pass. So he's distracted. He's wrestling with the ball. So he needs someone close to him so that he can ping passes off of them and get off that aggressive press. So at times when he's under a lot of pressure, like he has 2 or 3 players fighting for the ball, he needs assistance to be able to get off that aggressive press. But it does not mean that he cannot play out of it. Comparing him to Kobe Mainoo does well in those high aggressive situations. He can be able to turn the shoulder, dribble past players and give a pass. But Ederson, most of the time, he needs someone close to him to be able to ping that pass. It's more or less the weakness that Ugarte has. Ugarte, most of the time, won the ball, but he was unable to get out of that press and play through it. So yes, as I said, he has very good dribbling skills, but when he's under aggressive press, he's unable to have that vision to look up and give a good ball. He's not like Kobe. That's why I said United fans should not expect Ederson to be like Kobe Mainoo, to be like Casemiro, to be like Bruno. He's a very, very different player. We look at his metrics when it comes to short passing, long passing, when it comes to dribbling. He can do the job in terms of dribbling, but in terms of an aggressive press is where I've said he has 2 or 3 players pushing him to win the ball. he needs someone close to him so that he can have that good interplay. He has that good interplay, interchange, and he can get out of the press and start passing the ball, or at least dribble in space and move. So those are some of the weaknesses. So before I go to the next section, I want to read some of the comments. The next section will be comparing Casemiro and Ederson. Is he Casemiro's replacement, or is he a totally different player that United are getting? I've given you a bit of a hint. I've compared him to Casemiro a bit, to Mainoo a bit, but now we are going to look at the numbers. What are the statistics saying? So let me read some of the comments before we go to the next section. Faith Anyango, bigger Faith, you're saying he's a good deal. I don't know why people are criticizing him, that he will flop. Well, yeah, Faith on YouTube, thanks for the comment. As I said, right now, guys have realized that rage baiting, negative content is the one that's winning. You'll get a lot of comments. I saw a comment on X in the morning, and I felt sad because now nepotism and racism is starting to show on X when it comes to football content. So someone posted their opinion, which was very skewed. Of course, when you look at that post, you see that they want to rage bait. And then the first comment was like, these guys from Africa, they don't follow the club. They just do this to get money. I felt a bit sad. But when I look at X in general, or social media in general, a lot of guys are making skewed comments so that they can rage bait, get impressions, get the money. Get the deposit every week or every month. I've never earned any money on social media, so I don't know when when guys are paid. So yeah, Faith, I agree with you, it's a good deal. So guys criticizing him are just, I think for me, they're just rage baiting to get comments out of that, impressions. So let me go over on TikTok. Let me see some of the comments here. It's very, very active, and guys, please don't spam. I'll read the comments. Sven, hello to you. Bigger Sven. Good to see you and good to be back. MK, how about Mateus Fernandez? Yeah, Mateus Fernandez, Manchester United have inquired about the price. The player side is done. It's like the Mateus Fernandez will give priority to Manchester United. So West Ham are quoting double the amount. They are quoting 80 million. United are saying no, it can't happen. But West Ham have to sell because they can't keep most of these players. So Fernandez, let's wait and see. United have made a formal inquiry, or will make. The report I saw before I actually came live, not have made. They will make a formal inquiry to West Ham and then see how they can negotiate the deal. But United are not willing to pay 80 million for Mateus Fernandez. So let's wait and see. It's still all inquiries and finding out possibilities. So in terms of Elliot Anderson, I saw a rumor. I read a rumor online that City might be pulling out of the deal because they are also not willing to pay 115 million for Elliot Anderson. So let's wait and see. It's still early in the window. Still a lot of weeks to go. I don't think the window is officially open yet. So let's wait and see. Quickly, a couple of comments, then we go to the next section. I think Vision, I think I've mentioned about Elliot Anderson. United pulled out of the deal. They are no longer pursuing the Elliot Anderson deal because of the price. But if the Elliot Anderson fee goes below 100, probably around 80 million, United are willing to make the deal. But also the player wants to go to City. So it's a matter of convincing him, as well as Nottingham Forest reducing their valuation. Because honestly, I wouldn't pay. If it were up to me, I wouldn't pay over 80 million for Elliot Anderson. We need a good defensive midfielder. He's more of a number 8. As I mentioned, he can play multiple positions. Last season, Ederson played deeper. He played as a DM, and he did a very good job. And United right now need to have versatile players. The other day, we were having a discussion with Awesome FC, and one of the guys on that podcast or that TikTok live asked a very good question. Like, if you look at the top teams in Europe, they really don't have a specialist DM. They don't have an Ugarte kind of a player, but they have players that can do the job. You look at PSG, they really don't have as a defensive midfielder. You look at Arsenal, they really don't have a specialist defensive midfielder like Ugarte. Bayern, the same. Real Madrid, the same. Barcelona, the same. They just have players that can actually play as a 6 and an 8. And then both of them keep switching positions. And the tactics cover for it. So for me, looking at the way football is right now, it's like tactics are moving away from a specialist DM. So you look at Ederson, he can play CM, he can play DM, he can play AM. So that's a good profile to go to or to go for. Yeah. As I said, please don't spam. Please don't spam. I'll read your comments. Shadonal, good evening to you as well. Big up to you. I had a lovely day, a busy day, but a lovely day. Dalo is not consistent in his performance. Yes, he's not consistent, but he's reliable because he's always available. And let's be honest, not all players are consistent with their performance. And I think, and I believe, let me not say think, I believe Dalo can start performing well when United finally get a good squad. Finally get a good squad. And Dalo started building a relationship with Ahmad. He started building a relationship with another player. So you look at Dalo, he hasn't really consistently played with one player on that wing. You look at Dogu and Cunha, they already started having a relationship and they were complementing each other. For example, Dogu knew that Cunha likes cutting in, so he would make the overlapping run and they will complement each other. But Dalo, one time he's playing as a right wing back with Mbumo, the other time he's playing with Ahmad. So I sort of feel for him. So if United can have a consistent 11 and Dalo starts building relationships with them, I believe he can do well because Dalo's crossing is good. Performances will not always be 100%. Even Bruno, there are times where performances will go down. But I agree with you, he's not consistent. Compared to other players, his consistency is not so good. But Dalo is available. When you see teams like Real Madrid saying they want him, teams like Barcelona want him, then that tells you already have a good player, you know? You already have a good player. Let me see. Elliot, his quality. Yeah, I think I've mentioned that he's good, but I'm a bit skeptical paying 100 million for him. Then he turns out to be like a 1 season or 2 season wonder, you know. Mateus Fernandez has speed, unlike Kobe. That's true. Visiona. Today I'm doing the Ederson, so I can't do and I already did the Anderson deep dive. So go to YouTube, Vision. Go to YouTube. You look for that deep dive on Anderson. Sorry, not Ederson. Anderson. I already did that. Today I'm concentrating on Ederson. Last comment, then we go to the next session. Seth Melo, I think Ederson is perfect fit for Mainoo. He can recover spaces. Mainoo leaves. That's true. That's true. That's very, very true. That's very, very true. So, Visiona, go to YouTube. You'll see I did a deep dive on Elliot Anderson. But today we are concentrating on Ederson. We are concentrating on Ederson. Maoristic, Dalo is good in terms of availability, but not in terms of quality. Yeah. As I said, there are a lot of debates on Dalo. Personally, I actually calmed down and then I looked at it and I said, Dalo actually needs to play consistently with someone on that wing. But playing with different players, of course, will affect him and coaching style change, all that. So let's see how he performs under Carrick, because under Carrick actually improved a lot. If we are honest, under Carrick, Dalo has improved. He improved a lot. He created a lot of chances, a lot of crosses, and his defensive ability was much better. We didn't complain about Dalo so much when Carrick came in. So now let's compare Casemiro and Ederson. Are United buying a Casemiro replacement, a better one, a worse one, or a like for like? So this is how Casemiro and Ederson compare. So Casemiro, 45 appearances, Ederson 43. So part of those two, remember the other screenshot we had 41, but now there were two more appearances. I think there was like a friendly somewhere there. So 43, 45. But the official appearances were 41 for Ederson. When you look at the goals, Casemiro, of course, has more goals because of his aerial ability in the box. Ederson, not so much. But Ederson has a very, very good shot technique. We look at his statistics when it comes to shots. So Casemiro's goals, most of the goals are headed goals in set pieces, corners, free kicks, and all that. You look at the assists, similar numbers, 2 each. Passing accuracy, you can see that Ederson has a better passing accuracy than Casemiro. When it comes to interceptions, pretty much similar numbers, 31 and 28. It's only a difference of 3. So we can say more or less similar numbers when it comes to interceptions. So that tells you that the spidey sense I mentioned at the start of the show, both of them have. Both of them can read the game. Both of them can spot a pass, intercept it, and provide that defensive cover. Now, when it comes to duels won. Of course, Casemiro has more, 188, but in terms of efficiency, it's 52.7. So that means that Casemiro goes for more duels, but the efficiency in terms of the duels won is 52.7. So to give it into perspective, if Casemiro goes for 100 duels, he'll win 52, 53 of them. Compared to Ederson, he has less, 135, but in terms of the efficiency of the duels is 53.6. But if you are honest, the efficiency is almost the same. We are looking at just a 1 point difference or 0.9 difference. So pretty much the same when it comes to duels won. So that tells you in terms of interceptions, in terms of duels won, we are getting a like for like replacement for Casemiro. Dribbles past, this is where I mentioned earlier. Casemiro has been dribbled past 50 times this season, compared to Ederson's 19. So that tells you that Ederson does not easily get dribbled past. He will win those tackles. You try to dribble past him, he will win the duel. He will win that tackle. It's very difficult to dribble past him. But yet again, comparing Premier League to Italian League, the Italian League, the dribbles are very, very few compared to the Premier League. So probably that stat might improve or might not be good if he counts the Premier League. In terms of dribbles, Casemiro has had 6 successful dribbles per game. That is 37.5% compared to Ederson's 16. So you look at 16 dribbles, that is an accuracy of or a success rate of 55.2. So that tells you that Ederson attempts more dribbles compared to Casemiro. So he gives you an edge over Casemiro when it comes to carrying that ball. For example, he wins the tackle, he dribbles past players, or he gets the pass, dribbles past players, and plays. Ederson is also very good in terms of dropping deep, collecting the ball from the defense, linking play between defense, midfield, and attack. And I also mentioned he likes having those long balls. For example, if he gets a ball deep in defense, he can switch play to the overlapping fullback on the other side. He can look for wingers. So it is something good. I'm actually looking forward to seeing him play for United with the likes of Cunha, Mbeumo, Ahmad. I'm looking forward to him getting the ball, having that long pass to Ahmad, Mbeumo, they run towards it, or even Sheshko, they run towards it, create a chance, probably score. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So that's the comparison. That's the comparison between the two players. So more or less, we can say he's a like-for-like replacement for Casemiro, looking at those numbers. The only weakness is when it comes to goals and when it comes to duels won. As I said, Casemiro attempts more and his efficiency is 52. So Ederson, as I said, it might come down to the style of play in both leagues. In Italy, most of the time they don't play dribbling. They don't have a lot of dribblers in Italy. So we are getting a like for like. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I'm loving this. I'm loving this profiling that United have done. They are getting a very, 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 very good player. I don't know how many times I've said very, very good player. Yeah. So, Visioner, it's obvious. He's not signed. He's not signed yet. He's not signed yet. So that's why I said if. I keep saying if, and United are getting. So he's not signed yet. So if he had signed, I would have said I have gotten. But thanks for the heads up. Thanks for the heads up. One of the one is Premier League though, and the other is I don't know why guys keep saying other leagues are farmers leagues. To be honest, don't listen to what other guys say. Honestly, anyone who says farmers league hasn't really watched other leagues. Actually, there are very, very good tactics being played in those so-called farmers leagues. Trust me, it's just that the Premier League has had more money, so they attract better talent, and the marketing is much better. But if you watch the other leagues, they have very, very good games. They have very, very good games, and they play very, very good football. So let's stop with this Farmers League sort of discussion. Yeah, I know it's been used as banter, but if we are honest, then why didn't I change this? Okay. Yeah, so let's go a bit deeper in the analysis. Faith, you're asking about Tonali. I don't think that will happen. I don't think the Tonali thing will happen because the price is quite high. I don't see the Tonali deal happening because the price is very, very high. So let me prepare this. We look at now the detailed statistics. Let's look at the detailed statistics. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. So let's look at Ederson's comparison in terms of short passes compared to Kobe Mainoo, Mason Mount, Casemiro, Ugarte, and Bruno. So you can look at Bruno there. He's a complete outlier. Bruno is a freak of nature when it comes to short passes. He's quite good. As you can see there, he's at the top of the screen at a 1.0 and a 0.5 in terms of pass volume. But when it comes to creative output, Bruno is top at a 1. You look at Ederson, he edges Mason Mount, he edges Mainoo, and he edges Ugarte. But Casemiro, we can say in terms of passing volume, he has more passing volume. But in terms of output, Ederson is better in terms of the passing output. That is in terms of position relative score. So you can see that Ederson is close to Mason Mount in terms of creative output, but Mason Mount in terms of passing volume is much lower compared to that. So that tells you that Ederson is quite good. That was last season. But this season, as I mentioned, he played a bit deeper. He played more of a defensive role. And that's why his passing output, his creative output was much lower because he was playing in a much deeper role this season. So looking at his long passes, you can see that pretty much similar numbers last season and this season. And you can see he edges Casemiro, he edges Bruno, he edges Kobe Mainoo. So he's performing way better. He's performing way better. So let me open my notes to see what I wrote when it comes to passing. So Ederson is a high volume passer. He does not shy away from the ball. During matches, he constantly occupies the space between the lines for the center back passes, and he lays off the passes to the nearest player. You remember what I said when he's under a lot of pressure in an aggressive press, he needs someone close to him to help him out. But he's very, very good in terms of passing. He likes being with the ball. He likes playing with the ball. He always makes himself available to get the pass. So Kobe Mainoo is average. If we are honest, Kobe Mainoo is average when it comes to his pass volume and creative output. Let's be honest. And I'm not saying that because I hate Kobe. It's just what the data says and what the eye test says. So Kobe Mainoo is quite average. So if you pair him with a Bruno, you pair him with an Ederson, then you will be getting very, very good creative output and passing output. When it comes to the long balls, as I said earlier, United have had a weakness when it comes to long ball tactic, long ball passes. Very few players in that team can execute a long pass to the next player. One of them is Martinez, Bruno, and Casemiro. Those are the players that can actually play a very, very good long ball. We know that Maguire can also give a very good long pass, but he rarely does it. And when he does it, most of the time it finds the player. But Ederson is very good when it comes to long passing. You can see that Mason Mount is up there, but in terms of his volume is low. He has very good long pass accuracy, but his volume is low. So he does not attempt a lot of long balls. You look at Bruno, he's also, let's say, average in terms of long passes. Yes, he attempts them. He has high volume, but the efficiency, the accuracy is average. You look at Casemiro, more or less the same as Bruno, but lower. Ugarte, poor. He's very, very poor in terms of long balls. Kobe Mainoo, is in terms of long ball volume, they are high, but in terms of the accuracy, is very, very low. So with Ederson, you're getting both good accuracy and good volume. So the next one is carrying and dribbling. So you look at that graph there. I was actually shocked that Ugarte in terms of carrying distance is good, but in terms of dribbling volume is low. So you look at Mount, his dribbling volume is very high, but in terms of his distance is quite low. He does not carry the ball long distances compared to the likes of Ugarte, Mainoo, Ederson, and Bruno. So when you look at those three midfielders there, you can see that actually Kobe Mainoo, Ederson, and Bruno can play a very good complementary midfield. It can be more like the Newcastle midfield with Tonali, Guimaraes, and I keep forgetting the other name. So Ederson can be a good fit in that midfield. Because when it comes to ball carrying, Ederson brings some more of the Brazilian flair like Cunha. And he prefers a pass and release kind of pass, more like Kobe. Give me, I give you back. I give you, give it to me back. We keep moving. So he can actually play well with the likes of Bruno Mainoo. You remember that Dogu goal versus Arsenal? It had a similar sort of passing sequence. One touch, two touch play, release it, score. So Ederson can do that. But do not expect Ederson to have a Kobe Mainoo-esque kind of play. Kobe Mainoo is good in terms of those short passing, interchanging play. So Ederson, as you can see in the graph there, he's lower than Kobe. Bruno is actually shocked that in terms of that interchange, he's actually lower than Kobe Mainoo. Now, coming to defending, this is where the question is. As much as he's a good ball carrier, as much as he's a good dribbler, what about the defensive aspect of the game? What about the defensive aspect? What TikTok, why do they always do this to me? Visibility has been limited, gifting has been suspended. Anyway, I think it's because of the screen sharing, but we'll continue. Joe Linton. Brian names, thanks for the reminder. Tonali, Guimaraes, and Joe Linton. Yeah, so United with those three, with Ederson, Bruno, and Mainoo, they can have that sort of the trio. They keep interchanging positions, causing issues in that midfield. So now coming to the defensive aspect of the game, So guys, I'll request you to do one thing on TikTok. Keep tapping the like button, because TikTok for some reason have limited visibility. This always happens when I'm sharing the screen. So help me out with that. Now, coming back to the defending. You look at Ederson, he's actually very, very good compared to Casemiro and Ugarte. So when you look at defensive depth and pressing height, Ederson performed much, much better than Casemiro. Ugarte actually was good, yes, in terms of the defensive depth, in terms of going deeper, covering spaces. But now when it comes to engagement, defensive engagement, he's also very, very high. Casemiro, higher than Ederson, and Ederson, we can say he's third on the list. Now, looking at the other midfielders, their defensive depth is quite high. It's much higher on the pitch, but they are not very, very available when it comes to defending. So in terms of defensive positioning, you can look at Ederson. Last season, he struggled a bit, but this season, because he played deeper, as I mentioned, he played more of a defensive midfield kind of role. His numbers improved. Last season, his numbers were way, way less than Mason Mount. So that tells you that this is a player that can play across multiple positions. Now, moving forward, in terms of duels won. As I mentioned, Casemiro and Ederson more or less have similar numbers. Ugarte is a specialist DM. Ugarte, his job is just to destroy. And that's why you see his numbers are way and above the rest. He has more ground engagement. He has more aerial engagement, but less than Casemiro, less than Ederson last season. So as you can see, as we go through these stats, you can see Ederson is more of an all-rounded midfielder. He's a very good defensive. He's a very good attacking midfielder. He's a very good box-to-box. So he can play a 6, he can play an 8. So already we can see that Ederson is a very, very good fit for United. Now, looking at the heat maps here, let's look at the heat maps. Look at Ederson's heat map and look at Casemiro's heat map. One of the key differences, I don't know whether my mouse will be spotted on this. Oh, it can't. Let me see whether I can change this to show the mouse. Capture cursor. Let's see whether it will work. Ooh. Okay. What have I done? Let's see. Yes. So the cursor still can't be seen. Anyway, if you look at this heat map, looking at Ederson's heat map and looking at Casemiro's heat map. So you look at Ederson, he's a very intelligent ball winner, and his defensive engagement volume primarily consists of interceptions and ball recoveries, not necessarily tackles. Yes, he can put in tackles, but his main strength, his key strength, that is interceptions and ball recoveries, not really tackles. He protects the channels well. As I said, he has the spidey sense. In the box, it allows him to prevent danger before it happens. So he's someone who can spot a through ball, he can spot a pass and intercept it or recover the ball. So you look at those heat maps there. I want you to look at Ederson's presence in both boxes, in the attacking box, in the defending box, compared to Casemiro. So that tells you that Casemiro has more presence in both boxes, in the defending and in the attacking. So you can see the heat map in terms of attack. Casemiro has a very, very huge red spot. In United's defense, the same, because he goes there to defend. He goes there to defend set pieces, and when United are under attack. But now when it comes to the midfield, you can see that Casemiro is also all over the spot. Remember what I said about Ederson? He's right-footed. His preferred foot is the right foot, but he primarily likes playing on the left. You can see the heat map that on the left side, I wish I had the cursor being visible. You can see the heat map on the left side. He performs most of the time on the left. If you compare to Casemiro, he's more of in the center of that heat map. So what Ederson would need to improve on is, yes, looking at his own box, his own goal he defends. You can see the heat map. In terms of his own goal presence, he's there, but in terms of the opponent's box, not so much. So that tells you that he does not attack the box so much compared to Casemiro. Comparing him with Kobbie Mainoo, you can see Kobbie Mainoo now likes operating on the right. So Ederson likes operating on the left. Kobbie Mainoo's heat map, you can see he likes operating on the right. And we've seen him multiple times liking to get the ball on the right, having presence on the right side of the pitch, not so much on the left. Even the eye test can tell you if you remember how Kobbie plays. Then you look at the box presence. So Ederson has more box presence in his own half, in his own box. He defends his own box. Kobbie Mainoo, not so much. Kobbie Mainoo likes drifting forward, attacking the box, attacking the opponent's box, attacking the opponent's penalty area. So when you look at that sort of style, these two can complement each other. So Ederson can play deeper, allowing Kobbie to drift forward and attack the opponent's box. When Kobbie Mainoo stays mostly on the right, Ederson can operate mostly on the left and cover ground in case there is a switch of play. So these two can actually play well together. Kobbie Mainoo, Bruno can be allowed by Ederson to drift forward and attack. Ederson to take most of the defensive job. So in a nutshell, now to complete all this, because the hour is almost done. Visiona nikiweka kama AI generated huwa haisumbui. Yeah, the problem with the TikTok desktop app, it does not have that option of AI generated, but I'll do a research and see. But thanks for the tip. Now, to finalize all this, to have a closing verdict on all of this discussion we've had about Ederson, is this. The upside, the good thing about Ederson, what United will be getting, availability. We checked out his injury record. He's very, very reliable. He's very, very available. Missing only 4 games the entire season through a meniscus injury, and we know it's a serious injury. He was still available. He played 43 times that season, or 41. So sometimes some games are not marked as official appearances. That's why you need to check different platforms when it comes to statistics. So he's very, very good in terms of his injury record. It's very, very clean. He's missed few days. He's very disciplined on the pitch. He rarely gets red cards. He rarely gets yellow cards because he's a very clean tackler. He does not rush into tackles. He does not go to ground easily. Proactive defending, as we said, interceptions, reading the game, that's spidey sense. Remember I said about Spider-Man, that's spidey sense. He can sort of read and sense this is where the ball will go, then he covers ground. He has very smart interception lines, reliable clearances. He does not take risks. As we saw, his long balls are actually very, very good. In terms of possession, he's very good in terms of high volume passing. So pairing him with a Kobbie, pairing him with a Bruno, you'll get a very, very good possession-based midfield. He maximizes team control. We know that Kobbie Mainoo loves control. He loves controlling the ball. Bruno loves also controlling the ball as much as he takes risks. But if Bruno takes risks, at least we know Ederson is there to cover for him. So when he has that sort of pairing with Kobbie Mainoo, United can have a very solid capacity in terms of driving the ball forward. terms of driving the ball forward, United are guaranteed that they will have a good time. So, why was this cut? Okay, engine room, non-stop work rate. What happened to my slide? Why didn't I check on this when I was starting? Anyway, that's the last line is all about him being a workhorse. He can run 90 minutes. He can perform for 90 minutes. He's like a Bruno. He doesn't get tired. He can run box to box. He can cover ground. And that will complement someone like Kobe Mainoo perfectly. He will be able to run, intercept the ball, tackle, give it back to the midfielders for them to attack. So United are not getting a flashy player. United are absolutely not getting a flashy player. Yes, he has that Brazilian flair when it comes to dribbling, passing, but he's very clean in his play. He does not take a lot of risks. Most of the time, he plays safe. So what Carrick needs to do and his coaching staff, as well as the players, when Ederson comes to the club, when United sign him, they need to complement his playing style. Have someone playing closer to him. Have players available for him. I will also be interested in seeing how Ederson plays with a Mason Mount. Because Mason Mount is also good in terms of interchange, in terms of making himself available, making other players around him look better than he is. But of course, with everything in life, there are trade-offs. There are pros and cons in everything in life. So as I said, Ederson won't be a Kobe Mainoo. He won't be a Bruno. He won't be a Casemiro, although we've seen they are more like similar in terms of numbers. But he's a different player. As I said, he reminds me of Ander Herrera. He reminds me of Fred. He's like a combination of Fred and Ander Herrera. They can do a defensive job. They can do a box-to-box job. They can also do an attacking job. He also has a very, very good shot technique. I was actually shocked. His numbers in terms of goals are not good. His numbers in terms of shots on target, shots of target are not so good. But when I looked at his videos, he has a very, very good shot technique. So it's something he can improve on. So he isn't a deep lying playmaker. He's not like an Elliot Anderson. He's not like a Wharton. He's not like an Angelo Stiller who can orchestrate things from deep. But he can improve on it. As much as he's in his prime, he can improve. Like Casemiro's game changed. The way Casemiro was playing at United is not the same Casemiro that was at Real Madrid. And it also depends on how the coach wants him to play. As I said, last season, he was playing deeper in a more defensive role. So he's not a final third architect. He's not like Mount, Kobe, or Bruno that will come up with something in the opponent's box and voila, you have a goal. No. But in terms of that weakness, it's not so much. It's not something we should expect him to do a lot. We expect him to do the midfield job in terms of covering spaces, winning duels, getting those interceptions, ball recoveries, all that. That's his main job. He won't replicate Casemiro's aerial dominance. We've seen that. We know that. He's short. He does not have the height. We've seen the heat maps. He does not have a lot of presence in the opponent's box. So don't expect him to like score aerial goals like Casemiro. No. He's not hyper aggressive like Ugarte. Ugarte, we know he's very aggressive when winning those balls. Ederson is more of a clean tackler. And being clean doesn't mean that he doesn't win tackles. No, we've seen that Ugarte is the one who's only better than him when it comes to winning duels. Of course, and he will not provide those long-range goals. We don't expect him to shoot like Pogba from 30 yards, 25 yards and score. We don't expect him to do that. So those are the trade-offs. And that's it when it comes to Ederson. I know I've pumped a lot of information to you guys, but as I promised, today was a deep dive on Ederson. Who are United getting? What are United getting? And for me, get him, sign him at all costs. If Atalanta want 38, give them 38. Of course, we know that the deal is close. Let me check whether there are any reports, because by the time I was coming online, The Athletic had posted an article saying that United are in advanced talks. So let me read here. So the club is advancing talks with Atalanta for the 26-year-old Brazilian holding midfielder Ederson, with personal terms agreed and a 35 to 38 million pound deal close. United are also lining up with West Ham. Are also lining up discussions with West Ham for the 21-year-old Fernandes, who impressed with 5 goals and 8 assists during his Hammers relegation 2025-2026 season. So West Ham are seeking 60 to 80 million, but United value him at 50 million. Also, United are interested in Alex Scott, the Bournemouth midfielder, as well as Newcastle's Lewis Hall, signaling a youth-focused overhaul. So the deal is close, as I mentioned, between 35, 38, 40 million there. So the deal is advanced. It might happen very, very soon. United are also negotiating or are planning to have discussions with West Ham regarding Fernandes, Mateus Fernandes, for those guys who keep asking the comment section. And also they're interested in Alex Scott and Lewis Hall. So United are going for youth-based players, basically 25, 26 and below. So that's it, guys. Thanks for that. So let's just go to the Just Chatting section. Let me read some of your comments and then we end the live. I hope now you have a better understanding of who Ederson is. Don't be swayed by some of the rage baiters. Just accept to learn for yourself. Dig deep. Get knowledge. Don't just write off a player because someone influential saying no, they'd rather go for Anderson. That's their opinion. You can also form your own opinion, Yeah, so let me read some of the comments and then we end the live. I think we've gone 7 minutes over. So let me just push to 10:15. Let me just push to 10:15. Let me read some of the comments. So Hayden Hackney, yeah, there are interests. Yes, there are interests from United. He might end up being the third signing. Remember that United are planning to have a marquee signing, an expensive signing in midfield, probably in the regions of 80 million. They also want, let me not say a cheap buy, an average cost buy, like now the Ederson deal in the region of 30, 40. And then they want to spend another 20 on a player that can be a rotational kind of a player, someone young who will be learning the ropes and then eventually become a starter. So Hayden Hackney might end up being one of those quote unquote cheap buys that United are looking for, a squad player. Let's see. More of Fred. Do you mean Ederson? What about a striker and a backup keeper? That is less priority. So United want to sort out, I mentioned yesterday, they want to sort out the midfield first, then they go to the left wing, and then they go to the left back. But based on the reports I've just read, it's like United want to do the midfield and then left back. But now as a backup striker and a backup goalkeeper, they are not so much of a priority because United have some academy graduates that need to be pushed to the first team. For example, Chido Obi. Chido Obi has been pushing for first team. There are reports that United are looking for an experienced striker to more or less assist Sheshko. But also someone like Chido can be pushed to the first team so that he's like the third striker. He can play games in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup in the first stages before the knockout rounds. And so United also want to push some academy graduates to the first team. So positions like second striker, second goalkeeper, there's Radek Vitek, although reports are stating that he doesn't want to play second fiddle to Lamens. Onana might also be retained by the club. It's a possibility that Onana might stay for one more season because not so many clubs are interested in him. So it's still early. Things might change. By the time you're getting to August, September there, things might change. Right now, most of the reports are slow because of the World Cup. A lot of players a lot of managers, a lot of agents are focusing more on the World Cup. So right now you might not get a lot of reports, but now when you see reports like Ederson, like Fernandez, those players are not going to the World Cup. So that's why you're seeing the talks are being accelerated. But now for players who are going to the World Cup, don't expect much until the World Cup is done. Let's see. What about Hackney? As I've mentioned, there are interests, but not so concrete. He's among the list of players that United are looking at, but so far there are not so many concrete reports regarding Hackney. But he's a good player. He's a player that I would like to see at United. And if he accepts to become a squad player, because he's still young, he's still a very, very young player. Eden Hackney actually can be a very, very good Bruno Fernandes replacement. Who knows? He can be a very, very good. Nira, hello UKG. Hello to you as well, Nira. Big up, big up. Good to see you. Pablo, why am I not seeing these comments? What's happening to this screen? This screen is pixelated. Let me just bring it to this screen. Pablo, you are saying he's a solid midfielder. He ticks all the boxes. Yeah, Ederson is a very, very good midfielder. I don't know why a lot of fans are taking that rage bait that he's not good. Actually, when I looked at the stats, this if I wanted to go deeper, this live would have been 2 hours. It could have been like the Ederson deep dive we did. It went on and on for 2 hours. I didn't even realize it was a 2-hour live. So in case you've just joined and you haven't watched the deep dive, go to YouTube. First of all, hit the subscribe button, then watch the deep dive. So Ederson is a solid midfielder. Engineer Mugwe, which players are coming to United? At the moment, it only seems that Ederson is the only one that's quite solid. The rumor, which site did I see this? Was it Transfer Market? Was it Transfer Market or was it Who Scored? They were saying that there is a 76% chance that the deal will be done. So that tells you that the Ederson deal is almost done. And as I mentioned before I started the live, The Athletic posted the article that the deal is close. United are in an advanced stage. So Vision have said the left back position will be low priority for now. Kobe is quality, yes, he is. And if Kobe can get someone like Ederson, then he will unlock Kobe. Ederson will unlock Kobe. Compare him with Zubimendi, there is no point. That would be a waste of time, to be honest. There's no point of comparing him with Zubimendi. That would be a waste of time for me. Smith, big up. You're saying I think he's good in tiki-taka games. Yes, he has that Brazilian flair. So he's good. He's very, very, very good. Vision, I like your analysis, bro. Thank you very much. Sorry, it was a bit rushed. I believe I rushed it a bit. Sorry about that. Ooh, Jose Darwin. Thanks for sending a heart me on TikTok. Big up, bro. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Jose. Or is it Jose? Please, any good news? Yes. We are still alive. We are still healthy. So that's some good news. Big Sam. But in regards to United, the deal for Ederson is close. Dalo, Visionary saying Dalo is a good squad player, not a number one choice. Debatable. But as I've said, if Real Madrid and Barcelona want him, that tells you already have a good player. I want to see Dalo playing with a consistent squad, like a consistent pairing of center backs, a consistent right winger, a consistent forward. Then I'll judge him better. I actually looked at, I retrospected and I saw that I'm also being tough on Dalo. That's my view. That's my view. Can you compare Dalo with Trent, Reece James, or Hakimi? Not really. I think Trent has dropped off. Trent has dropped off since leaving Liverpool. Trent has dropped off. Reece James and Hakimi, those are world-class players. Dalo is not world-class. Reece James also, I think, with the change of managers, the injury issues, he dropped off a bit. Hakimi is You can't even. Why are you mentioning Hakimi and Dalo in the same sentence? Humoristic. I think I read that. Let me read some other comments. Let me see. And guys, don't spam. Just post once, because I'm struggling to get all the. TikTok comments just fly. So just post once. What if Sane Lamens gets injured? That's a good question. United need a second choice keeper. Radek Vitek is there. Onana is also there. I know myself and you guys wouldn't want Onana back, but that midfield needs sorting. The money available, let it first sort the midfield. Goalkeepers, United have very good goalkeepers, even the academy. So I'm not so worried about the goalkeeping department. So Nira, Ederson is unpredictable. In what sense? Nira, in what sense is he unpredictable? Atalanta want to change coach. Will it interfere with the transfer? No. Smith, it won't. Actually, one of the reports I read yesterday, and I also mentioned yesterday on the live, is actually our time is done. So I think that's the last comment I'll read. So Atalanta also want to make sure that they appoint the new director of football and manager, so that they can be the ones to sign off the deal. And also Atalanta need money. They need money. And if Ederson is saying he wants to come to United, you can't stop him, Gia, I read that report. I've already read that. Hey, bro, what do you think about Joao Gomez from Wolves? He is an option, but he should be lower on that list. He should be lower on that list. If he's available for the 20 million that United are saying they want to buy a cheap buy for, why not buy him for 20 million? Dalo is not even of Nira. You guys are being so tough on Dalo. We need a right back. Yeah, we do. So, guys, thanks for the live. We've actually gone 17 minutes over time. So tomorrow I'll also go live. Tomorrow we'll have our midweek debate. Let's discuss about United. Let's see how things are going. Hopefully the Ederson deal will be announced tomorrow. Let's hope. And thanks for everyone who's come on, who's commented, who's sent gifts, who sent the love. The likes of Faith, the likes of Nira, the likes of Mawaristic, the likes of Visiona, Engineer Mugwe. Big up to all of you. So keep warm. I know in Kenya, in Nairobi, it's particularly very, very cold. When is the big debate? We've actually been trying to organize one the last 3 weekends, but I was feeling unwell. This past Sunday, the lads were not available. So let's see whether we'll have it this coming Sunday. So we'll try to organize to have the big debate this coming Sunday. So let's see how it goes. I wasn't feeling well. That's why I actually went missing for quite some time. Now I'm back. And the boys, most of them were quite busy on Sunday. Let's see whether we can have one this Sunday. Simon, my namesake, you're saying good evening to you. Just how much are we going to spend on Ederson? It's around 35 to 38 million pounds. So, guys, we can go on and on and on and on, but everything has to come to a stop. So until tomorrow, guys, cheers and good night.